Police get tip-offs from many different sources. Informants, disgruntled customers, but this investigation started with a lead from a chemical company. An order was placed that just wasn't quite right. So police decide to do a stakeout of the business, not knowing who's going to turn up or where it's going to lead. But the surveillance paid off.
It only took one phone call, one tip-off, and police began their surveillance. This is the footage recorded by officers hidden inside a laboratory chemical supply company in southwest Sydney. Police are watching as two men collect chemicals they've ordered. And already, things are just not adding up.
For the father and son that came into the company, there was something that just wasn't right. They couldn't pronounce the actual substances. They had them written down on a piece of paper. They were going outside to make phone calls to clarify the quantities, and they didn't really understand how to transport these drums.
We had no idea what they were being used for because they weren't normal drug manufacturing to do with the speed side of things or the amphetamine type and also ecstasy.
Even though police don't know what the pair intend to do with the chemicals, including solvents, there are enough warning signs. Police must work out who the mystery pair are.
As a result, we made some investigation inquiries on the number and the name supplied, and we identified a father and son, Duc being the son and Van being the father.
That's Van Dang, the father on the left. He's in his early 50s. His middle son, Duc Dang, in the blue and white striped shirt, is only 20 years old. The pair work in a chicken shop together when they're not collecting chemicals. Police may know who they are, but they still have no idea what they're making. So they follow them to a property in the southwestern Sydney suburb of Lidcombe.
The next point of the investigation was to establish a permanent observation of the chemicals.
Detectives set up a camera outside the house.
So as we could start to record cars and people and hopefully identify the rest of the syndicate that was involved.
Police see many different cars coming and going and suspect this is bigger than just a father and son operation.
We've been notified again by the chemical company that a larger order had been placed for a larger amount of chemicals of the same nature, therefore rousing our suspicions again that they were ramping up their operation to a larger scale.
Police get another tip-off, and when the members of the syndicate pick up the second order of chemicals, police are watching. When the pair who collected the chemicals drive off in their car, detectives follow. And what happens on the way back to the house really intrigues officers. They pick someone up, a Dutchman, a backpacker.
We identified the male as being a Dutch person, and at this stage we still didn't have a name for him, so he's referred to as the unknown Dutchman.
They take the Dutchman with them to the house that police have under surveillance.
And from that day onwards, he was part of the syndicate. And the Vietnamese seemed to take it in turns to babysit or be there with him.
That's the Dutchman on the right. Police don't know his name. They suspect the Dutchman is the one making the drugs. But what drugs? Police still don't know what's being produced. Maybe it's not illegal drugs at all. The chemicals are not the usual ones police would expect to make drugs. There's only one way to find out if it's a drug lab: to get a search warrant and get into the house while everyone is out. Police finally get a small window of opportunity. This is real police footage as detectives enter the suspected drug lab under a warrant. They head to the garage first.
Located in the garage was the chemicals that had already been purchased that day from the chemical company.
I have a 20-litre plastic square drum of hydrochloric acid, 32%.
They find the chemicals that were picked up from the company.
We had hydrochloric acid, acetone, dichloromethane, ammonia. These are all solvents and reagents that are used in a number of different drug manufacturing operations. We knew something was happening. We were still unsure as to what synthetic drug was likely to be produced.
With the garage done, police head into the house hoping to find some answers.
A 4-litre plastic drum brown scientific stickler, or maybe that's the ammonia.
Then police uncover what they're looking for. Signs of illegal drug making.
We have a red plastic bucket, half full of something soaking in water.
Inside the laundry, we saw a bucket of sludge. There was a chemical reaction taking place there. Something was happening. We took a sample of that to try and identify what drug was being produced.
Because police still don't know what drug it is, they'll have to get into the house again in a few days to see if the process has advanced. They'll not only check on the drug, they'll ramp up the surveillance. Police will install cameras and microphones inside the house. They wait till the Dutchman is out for the night, and in they head. Straight away, they find another bigger bucket.
Be careful not to disturb it too much.
And again, they need to take a sample for forensics to try to work out what drug it is. It's then time to quickly but carefully put in the cameras and the microphones. It's the only way police can work out what drug is being made inside. Just 24 hours later, police hear something intriguing. Police now know something will be delivered, but what? Drugs? Chemicals? Detectives wait for a truck or a package, but all they see is suitcases.
At this stage, we didn't know what was inside the suitcases or what their actual purpose was.
They watch on as the suitcases go past the camera and into another room beyond view. And within minutes, hear hammering.
There were some strange sounds coming from inside the lounge room area that we couldn't determine what it was. A lot of crushing and banging, and sounded like a hacksaw and the like.
The noise is incessant, and what police don't know is that that noise is going to be the key to the entire operation. Police are watching a house in Sydney's southwest. They've seen members of a suspected drug syndicate coming and going, including a man police call the Unknown Dutchman. Detectives have installed cameras and microphones inside the house, and they've secretly searched the house under a warrant while no one was home. They found buckets with drugs, but still don't know what illegal substance is being made. Police have watched as suitcases were taken into the house and listened as a mysterious banging is heard. Now police are going to have one of their biggest questions about the operation answered. The results are in from the samples from the buckets, and they now know what drug it is. It's cocaine in an early stage of production.
It was a surprise and a relief to actually have the substance identified as cocaine. It then opened the scope of the investigation up as to the possible importation aspects and greater distribution.
That cocaine must have been imported, but how? Police get another warrant. They must go back in for the third time to see if the cocaine has progressed to its final stages and work out how it may have come into the country.
As soon as we opened the door, we were hit with a very strong ammonia smell.
Police move through the house, room by room.
Okay, it's acetone. It's acetone, yep. Hasn't changed from before.
Police can see that all the chemicals are still there.
There you go.
Then they discover another piece of the puzzle.
It's fiberglass. That's it, it's a suitcase.
That is broken up pieces of suitcases. They've been ripped apart, and now police start to work out how the cocaine has come into the country. Cocaine had been put in a resin-like toffee and was set hard into the body of those suitcases. Once it was hard, the material lining of the suitcases was put over the top, and the suitcases were packed with belongings.
The fact that it was impregnated in a resin that was put inside the suitcases and then the lining put over the top was somewhat significant, and I don't think it's been seen before in Australia.
Then, when the suitcases reached their destination, the lining of the suitcase is pulled out. The cocaine set in the resin is stripped from the cases, leaving just the shell of the suitcases behind. The resin with the cocaine inside is put in a bucket and dissolved using chemicals including the solvent the drug makers picked up from the chemical company. The net is closing in. Now, police just need to find the cocaine. They make their way into the living room, and in the torchlight, they catch a glimpse of something white.
In the middle of the lounge room was a mirror, and on that mirror was, we estimated, about 5 to 8 kilos of white crystalline substance.
You are looking at cocaine base, the middle stage of cocaine being made. It's gone through a drug-making process, but it still has a long way to go. There are still many stages of drug making ahead before this base becomes cocaine that can actually be sold. Eventually, that base could make 5 kilograms of cocaine with a potential street value of $1.5 million.
Police have enough evidence to arrest the Vietnamese syndicate and the Dutchman, but they want to catch everyone involved. Who will they sell the drugs to? They know the Dutchman's belongings are still in the house, and the cocaine still has a couple of days of processing to go. If they wait, they can arrest everyone.
That means also catching the distributors and those importing the cocaine. But what detectives don't know is that the syndicate members have a surprise for police. Police have been conducting surveillance on a house in southwestern Sydney, a suspected drug safe house. They've watched the occupants leave and have managed to get inside, where they found cocaine base, the middle stage of the process to make cocaine. At first light, police will strike, raid the house.
It wasn't until the early hours of the morning, when the sun was up, that we could see on the footage from the live feed that come back that the 4 containers in the kitchen and laundry area had been removed. Therefore, it made us ramp up our response that something had happened.
The tubs in the kitchen police have seen before are gone. They immediately get into the property. It appears the syndicate's been tipped off. There's no one here. Detectives find some of the chemicals that have been used to process the drugs. Without these chemicals, the cocaine base could not be finished, could not be sold.
In the corner, closer to the front of the house, there are 3 drums, 2 blue ones, 1 white, 2 drums of acetone, 1 of hexane. They're all solvents.
Police find a press. This is also reassuring for police. Without this tool, the cocaine cannot be pressed into blocks to be sold.
On the carpet, just inside the front door, there's white residue, bits of white paper, more granules of white residue.
Next, police go to the house of the father and son, Van and Duke, the 2 men police got the initial tip-off about at the Laboratory Chemical Supply Company.
As anything you said will be recorded and may later be used in evidence.
They're looking for any proof of their intention to make drugs.
Now these glass beakers have been located here. Can you explain to me what these glass beakers are for?
Nói tao còn con của một người vợ nữa, vợ tao còn người vợ nữa.
He said she steps on my stepbrother.
Detectives search everywhere. Police continue their search, leaving the house and now concentrating on the van.
Is it your van or is it not your van?
Yeah, my van.
It is your van. Just want to come around with me, Mr. Day?
They find chemicals.
Ammonia solution?
These were the same chemicals police had seen at the safe house. These were crucial in the process of turning the cocaine base into coke that could be sold on the street. And even more evidence. Recognise these? The suitcases used to import cocaine resin. Police have their drug lords. Van and Duke are arrested. As for the unknown Dutchman,
He seemed to be a significant link in not only our investigation, but probably numerous others throughout the world. As a result, the investigation is still running. His fingerprints that were identified at the scene have been sent off to Interpol. I'm waiting for the day that we get notified that a Dutchman's been arrested. It'll be a good day.
Van, the father, was charged with manufacturing a large commercial quantity of a prohibited drug and supply. He was committed to stand trial, but died before his case was heard. Duke, his son, was sentenced to 2 years jail for the manufacture of a large commercial quantity of cocaine.
It's always tricky keeping an eye on a drug lord. In the city, police have plenty of crowds to blend in with, people to hide behind. But out here in the country, it's a whole new ball game. There are many less people around, and dirt roads are often the only way in and out of a suspected drug den. That's the dilemma that police faced with this operation. 600 kilometres from the nearest capital city. And in the end, police just had to pounce.
This is actual police surveillance footage, filmed deep in the bush.
Time's 12 minutes past 2. 12 minutes past 2. It's a white caravan.
They've received a tip-off that members of a Greek family have moved to New South Wales and are growing cannabis. The surveillance is happening almost 600 kilometres from Sydney. Drug police are on a remote property outside Narrabri in country New South Wales. This is as close as they can get. There's only one dirt road in and out.
When we identified the property, we couldn't determine where the actual cannabis plants were. It was quite a large property. It was fairly well concealed from the road. There were a lot of trees and bushes to give coverage to the cannabis plants.
Police can see cannabis drying out. Because of the remoteness of the location, any unusual noise could give police away. They whisper.
We have a clear cannabis crop site over here. It was fenced off. We've got empty pots. Got a generator going in the background and 3 people on site at the moment that have been identified. The caravan we videoed earlier is located in this track. We've identified another area of drying cannabis plants. Through here, past that chicken wire fencing. Got a fairly large area of drying cannabis hanging from wires. Roots have been cut off.
All of a sudden, their target appears. This man, Vasilios Hansis. He's known as Old Bill, and this is one of the only pieces of police surveillance.
If you looked at these individuals, you'd not pick them to be involved in the criminal element. They would be your local Greek, people within your community, generally of middle to senior age or mature age.
I just saw the guy wearing the green singlet walk over to the drying cannabis plants and disappeared out of my sight at present. Information from detective is that he's got activity of people pulling the dried plants down.
Police can see cannabis, but how much and how many people are involved?
Certainly once we got the eyeball location of the cannabis, we didn't know how many were there because you can't get too close. We had enough evidence to apply for a search warrant.
Police know there is cannabis beyond the fence, and who is responsible. The time for watching is over. Police must now raid the property. It's time to make the arrests.
Nothing can prepare you for seeing the volume of cannabis.
We've identified another area of drying cannabis plants.
Police are about to raid a rural property in the middle of country New South Wales, a cannabis plantation, unaware of how huge it is going to be.
And sure enough, as soon as the helicopter went over, 2 or 3 people that decided they'd make a run for it.
Because of the remoteness of the property, police are only now getting a clear picture of the size of the plantation.
Big rolls of black plastic, which is, you'll find right throughout the property. It's been laid out. And as we go through the property, we'll find massive bales of this black plastic. And inside the black plastic, there's large amounts of cannabis, and it's right throughout the property. I wouldn't be able to estimate how many.
Police walk through a maze of cannabis, and it dawns on them, this is a massive bust.
Nothing can prepare you for seeing the volume of cannabis. The volume of the cannabis is such that if you've got 2 large trucks, think of that absolutely full bursting at the seams, where you need front-end loaders to take it out.
Police begin breaking down the plantation. And even more police have the task of rounding up the workers.
You're under arrest for cultivating cannabis. You do not have to say or do anything. Anything you say or do will be recorded and may be used in evidence at court.
Some of the workers are family or friends of the drug lord, unskilled migrants flown in to do hard drug labour.
And what work were you doing? Cleaning. And specifically, what were you cleaning?
Do you understand that marijuana or cannabis is an illegal drug in New South Wales?
No, it's not legal. No, it's not legal.
Police round up every person. Next, they move inside.
So, Penny, this is your room?
Yeah.
Okay.
This woman is Penny Leosis. She's been making meals for the workers.
And is it only you two in these?
In this room?
Yeah.
Yes.
She was the person in charge of the house, or coordinated the house, the cook. She kept the lists of what's required for food, what was required for medications.
Penny had an involvement in doing drug runs for that family. She would take drugs and money interstate. I think it may have been through some card games that she actually met up with the family.
Penny is arrested, and outside police are about to get their biggest find. They come across a shed, locked, but that won't be a problem. Police get in, and even they will be shocked by what they find.
Numerous vacuum cleaner bags filled with little bits of cannabis. This area appears to be where the better quality head of the cannabis plant is processed.
The heads are sold in grams, and there are hundreds of kilos of them.
It was valued at $45 million worth of cannabis. It was overwhelming. Very seasoned drug squad detectives had smiles on their faces and a look in their eye of like, this is really unbelievable. It's Australia's largest ever seizure of cannabis, 3.2 tonnes of cannabis. I don't think it'll be beaten anytime soon, if you're looking at records.
In total, 23 people were arrested and charged. They were sentenced to more than 50 years behind bars. They all played a part in Australia's biggest cannabis plantation, under the guidance of the ringleader, this man, known as Old Bill Hansis. He was running the show.
They didn't see it as if it was so insidious that they could grow cannabis and then they would sell it to people, but as long as they got their money back, that they could keep for their family. That's how they justified it.
The Cilios, Old Bill Hansis, was charged with knowingly taking part in the cultivation of a large commercial quantity of cannabis and supply. The maximum sentence for that would be 25 years. Bill Hansis pleaded guilty, but died a week before his sentencing.